Hi, Susan here. Okay, today we're going to do a simple yoke on this dress form so you can understand how to do different skirt designs and different dress designs. And that's what's next. So this is my size 8 dress form that translates to a 4/6, and I'm making it very, very simple. I just put a straight piece of my adhesive design tape all the way across to the back, 4 inches down from the waistband, just like that. But you can do any design you want. You can get your adhesive tape, you can do something that comes to a point and curves up. You can do almost any design you want. The whole point of the matter is, though, you want to eliminate that dart, right? The skirt darts that we have to fit. And the only way you're able to really do that is if you go high enough up. Anything below 4 inches or so from the waistband is going to force you to put a fitted dart. So as long as you do a design that's pretty much high up there like that, you know, in a straight line or curved or however you want to do it, you will be safe to eliminate that dart. And that way, when we have our yoke that's going to be here on the waistband, it can be attached to the bodice and make a full dress. You can gather back down here and make a dirndl skirt. You can do flares. You can make it still straight and put a ton of different seams. You can make a lot of design elements that would make it interesting for your beginning design projects. So that's why I wanted to go and make sure that we started with the yoke so you can understand. Okay, let's show you now how we're going to get that started and prepared. That's what's next. I just want to give you the supplies that we're going to need. You have 2 torn muslins at 15 inches wide by about 10 inches in length. This will be the center front after you have turned it back 1 inch over here for the center front. And here is 1 inch turned back for the center back. You're going to need sharpened pencils, tape measure, French curve, your styling tape, whether it's adhesive or not. You need a fabric scissor, pins, the straight ends 2-inch by 18-inch clear plastic ruler, and you're going to need your hip curve. Okay, here I am on the flat. I have 2 pieces torn about 10 inches, and then the width is about 15. And what you want with the length is you want that 4 inches or 4.5 inches plus another 4 inches or so. So that it gives me that length of about 10 inches. And then the width of the side of the garment, the side of the dress form, which is around here, plus another 4 inches. And that's how I got that. After you have that, you have to block it. That means you need to pull it on opposite corners, press it with the grain going this way and this way in order to get nice squared off corners. And then you're going to be drawing a 1-inch marking here from the center, from the torn edge for the center back and the center front. I'm going to go ahead and pull that grain just like that. I'm going to go ahead and fill in that grain with my pencil and my ruler, and that is going to be this. I'm going to press that back. That'll be the center front, and then we're going to go ahead and pull the grain here on this side for the center back. So I'm going to actually put a 1-inch marking just like that. I'm going to take my pin and I'm going to hold it up here, and I'm going to pull that grain here like that. I'm going to fill it in with the ruler and pencil just like that. And that is going to be turned back and pressed, and that will be my center back. Okay. I am on the dress form. Like I said, we just did a very simple one, which is straightforward. It's 4 inches down from the bottom of the waistband and put my tape all the way along to the back. We're going to start with the front. And the turn back section that we have here like this, I'm going to put it about midway, meaning the excess will be pretty equal on the bottom as well as the top. And then I'm going to go ahead and place a pin here at the center front and underneath the waist tape. And I'm going to just do a few more pins to secure that center front section just like this, all the way to the bottom of the tape. Now that we have that here like that, as you can see, right, here we go. We're going to be smoothing this downward like this. and we're going to have to put some clipping. So you can see where it's going to pull a little bit. So the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to take from this section to the princess seam, I'm going to just cut across like that, and I'm going to cut down because I want to release a little bit of that tension just like that. So I have that smoothed here on the waistband. Once I get to the princess line that goes all the way down the entire dress form, I'm going to do what's called a pinch of ease. I'm going to go ahead and take about 1/8 of an inch here and just put a little overlapping like that with my pin so that I can have some ease there on that waistline. I'm going to continue to clip down. If you want to clip down, you can go as far as the top of the tape. Be careful not to go further or you will change the actual measurements of this yoke. Then I'm going to take my hand and I'm just going to smooth, 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 just like that, to the side waist, just like this. I'm going to put another pin here at the side waist and also another pin here at the hip line. Let's release some of this as well. I'm going to clip a little bit further, just the top of that tape. I'm going to clip this one here a little further down, just like that. I'm going to take off this excess. We don't need a lot of this excess, like that. And take that guy off there as well. So you can see how simple that is. But once you smooth this, keep in mind that now the grain line is kind of going on a bias. This is the grain line here like this. So it moved from where it would normally be like this and then absorbing darts to a little bit of a bias here at the side seam. So keep that in mind. There will be some stretching if you're not careful. But I'm going to go ahead and secure this on both sides of this dress form. Here at the side waist, the bumpy part of the side, you want to put the pin outside of that. There are times where you might want to add a little bit of a pinch of ease here on the side seam. I like to just make sure I go on the outside of the bumpy part so that I know that. Also keep in mind that this now has sort of developed a bias kind of feeling, so it will give. So there'll be some ease there. You won't really need too much extra ease here on the bottom part or on the side. But if you're doing a gathered skirt or a dirndl skirt attached to this, there's going to be a lot of fabric, right, sticking in there. So then you, at that point, you might want to add a little bit extra ease. So we're going to go ahead now and just do the dotting process. We already smoothed it out. I think we have it nicely. If you want it to be smooth here, you can go ahead and put pins just like that, just to hold it down. I'm going to put pins on the bottom just to hold it taut, and here as well. It's just a matter of manipulating it with your hands. That's how simple it is, but that's French draping. It is just sculpting, right, with your hands. Now here at the waistband, we're going to do a straight perpendicular line here underneath the waistband and here at the center front and the bottom of that yoke. Then I'm going to go ahead and dot, dot, dot all the way underneath that tape. When I get to the princess seam, I'm going to put a cross mark just to know that's where it belongs. And then I'm going to go ahead and dot, dot, dot all underneath the band, the actual white waistband that we have here. I'm going to go past the waistband and the bumpy part and put my intersection like that. I'm going to put my dots on the outside of that band, that nubby side seam band, right? And I'm going to put that all the way down here. I don't really have that bumpy part because I padded this dress form and gave it a little bit of a butt, remember? Now I'm going to go underneath and put a cross mark and then dot, 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 dot all the way along the bottom part of this style tape for the yoke. And that's it, guys. That's the front. Okay, we're going to go ahead and take this off just like that, and we're going to drape the back. So here is the front. We're taking that off. We have all the essential markings, the intersection here, the intersection here, the intersection here, the intersection here, as well as here. We're going to take that off just like that, and we're going to go to the back. I have the center back. It's already turned back that 1 inch here at the center back, all the way along that center back seam to where the styling tape is right there. Once I have that, let's make sure I have it exactly at the center back. Okay, I have it secured. Then we're going to mold this one here as well. It's going to fight as soon as we get to the princess seam. Let's go ahead and put a pin there so you can see that. We're going to slash down to the waist tape, but not past the waist tape on the top part of it. Cut off the extra we don't need on this side. Kind of cut up like that. And you can put as many slashes as you want to make it smooth here on the top of the tape. Once we get to the princess seam, we're going to put that pinch of ease. So we're going to carry our pin and just take a little bit of the fabric and bring it back. And that's the pinch of ease that we have here. The rest of it we're going to smooth over just like that to the side seam. Once I get to the side seam, it is going to fight me again. Let's release some of that tension by slashing down to the waist tape, but not all the way down. And I'm just going to clip off any excess that might be flopping around for us, and just clip that off just like that. Okay, so now we have that here like that. And now that we have this smooth, it's going to be a little bit more difficult to see it smooth because we have, you know, this padding that we have going on here, but it's fine. So we're just going to smooth it over to the side seam. Again, I'm going to put the pin on the opposite side of the bumpy area here for the side seam. I'm going to do that all the way down to where the side seam will end here on the design tape. This is the grain line like this. As you can see, as we're getting down here, it is then going like this. So it's getting a little bit of a bias on the back as well. Okay, after we have that, if there's too much fabric, let's cut some of that off. Let's get rid of any of it. We can also clip on the side seams so that we can have a smooth finish on there as well. As you can see, it's kind of flaring out a little bit here, which is giving us that little extra ease on the bottom part of that design tape. All right, now that we have all of those things there, we're going to go ahead and do the marking again. We're going to go a perpendicular line at the center back, intersection at the center back, and the waistline. We're going to put a perpendicular line here at the intersection of the design tape and center back. Then we're going to dot, dot, dot underneath the white tape. We're going to put an intersection here where that princess seam is, and we're going to continue to dot all the way underneath the tape till we get to the side seam. And once we get to the side seam, just like this, if you have to peek, you can. And you want to make sure you have exactly where that side seam is. We're going to go on the opposite side of that nubby tape. That gives us that little bit of a 1/16 or an 1/8 of an inch excess, right? That's where we get the ease. And I'm going to dot on the outside of that tape all the way down to the side seam. I'm going to feel that bumpiness to make sure I have it. Let's see where it is. It's actually ending. It's actually ending over here. Add like an 1/8 of an inch right there. So that's where I'm going to put, this is the actual side seam, intersection here, dot, 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 all the way underneath that style tape, just like that. And you want it to be black. You want to be able to see it through your muslin, just like that. And I'm going to go and finish it off just like that. All right, so we have the back now draped. Let's go ahead and take the pins out, but before that, let's check all our intersections. The waistline and side seam intersection, bottom of the tape intersection, the princess seam intersection, the center back, waist, and the center back of the dress form, the center back of the dress form with the bottom of the design tape. Now that we have all those intersections, you want to take it off, and we're going to do it now on the flat. On the flat, we're going to true these pieces. We're going to take the majority of the lines and make it either a straight line or a curved line. Let's take the front first. And you want to take whatever ruler works. So I'm just going to take my French curve because it seems to be more curved here, and then just go ahead and draw in that line. If it's straighter over here, then go ahead and use whatever ruler works. just like that. This was the side seam right here. I'm going to add at the very edge 1/8 of an inch, just like that, for ease. Then I'm going to take whatever ruler works with most of those, majority of those dots, and fill it in. And there's that. I'm going to do the bottom of the waist tape. The bottom style line I'm going to do right now for the yoke, and just move my ruler till I get the majority of those dots. And there's that. Oops. Like that. And let's do the back. Here's the back. It's more of a curved line, so I'm going to go ahead and use my French curve and just put it down wherever it needs to be. Move it around so you can get the majority of the dots. This was the side seam here on the bottom. I'm going to add my 1/8 of an inch for ease, just like that. I'm going to go ahead and connect the majority of the dots now. The same thing on the bottom. I'm just going to move my ruler till I get it. That's that. Turning it around. And like that. Now we're going to add 1/2 inch seam allowance from the design tape, just putting in your rulers and doing little perpendicular markings all the way around that design tape, just like that, as well as here. Just curve it around. 1/2 inch here at the waistline too. Just take the majority of the dots and you want to make little perpendicular markings all the way up like that. Once you get that, we're going to go ahead and cut it out. Line, which is the edge of where that is. There's that. All right, let's do the front. Let's add that seam allowance all the way around this actual pattern piece now. We're going to do it here as well. And just make it curve wherever it needs to be curved. Just move the ruler and put your sharpened pencil along that line. Another mistake that is done all the time is that this is sometimes too sharp of an angle. You always want to make that design line tape kind of go up just about 1/16 of an inch like that, as well as this. And I'll explain that later as we finish cutting. Let me go ahead and cut this now at the cutting line. Okay, there we go. All right. I'm going to do the same thing here on the center back. I'm just going to kind of go up a little bit. See, that one goes up nicely. You don't want it to stick out and make a point. Now we're going to go ahead and pin these together. Here is the center front. And we're going to turn back the center back seam allowance at the side seam. We're going to put it right there, and it matches perfectly, thank goodness. And we're going to put our pins about 1/2 inch apart, stabbing all layers like that and quickly going up. Another 1/2 inch or so apart, stabbing all layers and going up. And we're going to pin that side seam just like this. You want to make sure it turns back and you get exactly where that line needs to be. And I'm going to pin on the bottom to absorb it so it doesn't stretch. So we have it nicely on the bottom. I'm going to turn it back here Get all layers and sharply go up. Stab all layers and sharply go up. Stab all layers and then sharply go up. And then the last one here in the middle. And you just want to get a pinch of it. You don't want to get a whole lot. Okay, let's put this guy back on the dress form. Here we are on the dress form. I'm going to put the yoke back on it. I'm going to go here at the center front, beneath the waist tape, where the design line is, as well as down here. Remember we had that pinch of ease here? I'm going to leave it alone for a minute so you can see where the ease, how much the ease is giving. And then I'm going to pin it back here at the center back as well. It looks like a lot, trust me, it's not. It is ample ease for you to be able to breathe and have this garment connected. So there's that, just like that. And we're going to go ahead and pinch back that little bit of ease here at the princess seam there. We're also going to do the same thing on the front, which is taking that pinch of ease like that and pinching it back. We have a nice little amount of ease on the bottom of this to absorb a dirndl skirt or a lot of fabric going here and gathers. Plus you need to have some ease on the side seam for the body, right? So we have that nicely done, and we have it here in the front. I'm going to push this down just a tad. And there we have our simple yoke on the dress form so that you can do different designs both on the top and on the bottom for your basic design French draping class, so that you can make different designs. I hope you enjoyed this lesson. Stay tuned for next week's lesson and let me know how I'm doing, guys. Let me know that you understand this, and if you have any questions, please give that in the comments below, and I'll see you next week. Thank you. Bye-bye.